Hey, so another episode of Same Problem, Different Path. This week we have a 31-year-old with over $400,000 in debt. We're going to stick with Dave Ramsey for a little bit, and he called Dave Ramsey asking for advice. The $400,000 in debt came from about $250,000 in student loans and the $180,000 in his purchase of a new home that he recently purchased. He makes about $70K a year. He's in law enforcement. He went to a private college that his mother wanted him to go to, high tuition. Then he also got an advanced degree from that same college. So that's how he got $250,000. And then the house he purchased because his dad passed away last July. And so in September, and the last conversation that they had was around, hey, I want you to have this house across the street. It went up for sale and he purchased it. So already with $250,000 in debt. And then his dad said he wanted him to buy this home. So there's just an immense pressure that he felt from both his mom and his dad to do what they want him to do the right thing. Purchasing a home is something his dad said that he always wanted him to have. And just this dream that we were fed as millennials. In the 2000s, it's just like you go to school, you get a good education, you go get your master's, you do all these steps. And the reward at the end of that was that you would have a job that was paying you and you'd be able to live and everything would be fine. But that wasn't quite the world that we grew up in. Some people spend the first 5, 10, even 15, even 20 years of their professional world paying back loans. And so they're not able to live this life that is promised. And is start working overtime. You need to think about, of course, budgeting and all these things. And I think, again, all that stuff is practical. But when you spent the past 4 to 6 years in college, kind of grinding, and in a sense, this reward, you're supposed to get this high-paying job out of college or high-paying something whenever it's supposed to happen, and it doesn't happen. There's a little bit of disappointment. There's a little bit of frustration there. And then you layer on top the pressure from our parents and even the expectation of our parents, because while we may have a job that, let's say, this guy makes $70,000 a year, our parents look at that and they say, what's the problem? 70K, I've never made 70K. I don't even know what you're talking about. But 70K in 2026 and 70K in the 90s is quite a different world. And I think that millennials kind of get a hard rap when it comes to the feeling of entitlement and all those sorts of things. I think it's that while the finances didn't catch up, the dream stayed the same. And so there is a level of, well, if I'm supposed to have this, that means that job or whoever else, you need to give me something. And I go to college. We got, in a sense, in some cases, the highest paying job in our family. And we don't quite know what we're doing. We don't know about the emotional side of this stuff. We don't know about the psychological side of stuff. Some of us are still living in scarcity mindset. So I think about this guy and he's probably just like, I just did it because this is what mama told me to do. I went to college because this is what mama told me to do. And that is something that I don't know. When I look at the response that Dave gave, of course it makes sense. His first thing was, hey, you're in law enforcement, you can go work overtime, right? Something that normally happens. And so he gave him that advice and he said, you need to start saving. He started talking about his girlfriend and how his girlfriend, he needs to marry his girlfriend so they can have dual income. And it was just like, bro, that is, I get it. And I get how that could actually help him. But from a TalkCents perspective, yo, one, how are you? Let's back way up. So I'll step off the millennial soapbox and think of just a regular person. Your dad just died a year ago, less than a year ago. You're still in grief. In grief, we aren't thinking logically. What Dave says is 100% logical. You should save, you should get overtime, you should do side hustles, you should do all those things. But right now, you're still grieving. And as a human, there has to be space for you to grieve. And just because the world doesn't stop doesn't mean you don't. And I think that is something that we really have to give ourselves grace for. And that's something that TalkCents says, hey, let's just take one small step. As you get out of the grief stage, as you start really focusing in on this financial world, then you then can do it. So it's not about what to do. What to do is clear. When to do it is, I think, the part that I think we struggle with. And so when I think about, again, this guy, Dave Ramsey, great advice. Just not right the second row. The guy just lost his dad, is probably frustrated and depressed and mad at himself for the fact that he listened to his mom and went to this high-priced university when he could have either didn't go to school at all, went to a community college. Like, there's all sorts of options, but we don't realize those options until after the fact. When it's happening, when we're in those basic conversations with our parents when we're in high school and got a guidance counselor pushing it down your throat. You have all these things that are telling you have to go to college, you have to go to college. Man, that's a weight that I don't think people understand. And I don't think they get that, and how that impacts your financial future, how it impacts when you want to have kids, how it impacts when you want to get married, how it impacts all these different things. So while yes, he can do overtime, he can do all these things, but once mom says, hey, for a crazy example, I need you to buy the house across the street and next door to you for your future children. This guy has not dealt with how to make financial decisions on his own. He has not dealt with building confidence in small decisions about his finances. And mom could easily say, this makes sense. And then he could even have the voice of dad echoing from the grave saying, hey, yes, do what your mom says. And so there's all these things that are happening. So the logical, obvious solution that I think Dave is presenting may not be the best one. And I think one simple thing you can say is, hey, this guy, he called Dave Ramsey. Again, I don't think Dave said anything that was wrong. I don't think he said anything that was incorrect. I just think that the timing of it all, that matters, and safety matters. And that's one of the things, that's one of the core philosophies and principles of TalkCents, is that safety matters and when is equally as important as what. So I just want to just share that with you. And I hope that this all resonates. I know I've been talking about Dave Ramsey for the past last week and then this week. If there are any money gurus that you're interested in, let me know, and we can I can send me the YouTube link, you drop their names below. And I know that our approach isn't the 100% approach, but I just want to be fair and say, hey, here's how Dave actually does work. Here's how, insert money guru actually work. To just show like we're not just trying to bash. I think that in the right time, somebody like Dave Ramsey makes perfect sense for people. So that's all I have, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day, and join us next week for